Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome United States Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg and award-winning author Bryan G. Garner as we conduct an interview by Bill Press.
Justice, if there's one moment that will be remembered for the Supreme Court for the year 2010, I would dare say it will not be any of the decisions that you submit or lay down or publish, but it will be President Obama's State of the Union address. A week after the Citizens United case was decided, the President, clearly not happy with that decision, he let it be known, which led to the head shaking on the part of Justice Alito. So I guess my question is, do you like going to the State of the Union, and do you think the members of the Court should be there? Or are you going to boycott the next one?
For me, it's a particular challenge. It comes at the end of a long day, and when we were going as a group, we had dinner together. Justice Kennedy often brought in some excellent California wine. So it was, I miss my dear colleague, Justice Souter, for many reasons, but one was when he saw that I was beginning to get sleepy, he'd give me a gentle nudge.
At the State of the Union?
And also, they tend to go on rather long.
Do you think it's important that the Court be there?
Do I think it's important? I think that any individual justice who thinks that he or she should attend. But more and more, the State of the Union is a really political event. People are bobbing up and down.
And you can't.
And that's right, we sit there stone face. And we can stand when the President comes in, stand when he leaves, and in between, sit there.
I think, Bill, it's great that there were no restrictions on this interview with Justice Ginsburg. No restrictions at all. You've taken full
but I'm going to ask you the question whether you think it's appropriate, for the President, sorry, I won't ask the Justice, but it's appropriate for the President to express his displeasure with the decision while the members are sitting there and can't respond, and whether it's appropriate for a Justice to nod his disapproval, in your judgment?
In my personal judgment, we have a very wise Chief Justice, and I think his response seemed to me to be fully appropriate. And I can't imagine having been there if you try to put yourself in the position of a Supreme Court Justice, which is a very presumptuous thing to do, but no, I wouldn't fault any of the justices on any of the behavior that we saw. In fact, I'm surprised that there weren't more vehement objections, but no.
This incident pales in comparison to FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt's extreme annoyance with the Court, and came up with the Court packing plan. The idea was that if a judge stays past age 70, that judge, we hold our offices during good behavior, so we can't be terminated. But Roosevelt's idea was, when we get past 70, then he can appoint another justice. So if he had been successful, the number of justices would have gone from 9 to 15 immediately. And he would have had 6 appointments.
President Obama's got nowhere near that. So let me ask you, finally, both of you, if I can. Justice, you are a tremendous role model to people in this country, especially to women, for all that you've accomplished. And when you look at the Court, now number 107, who are your heroes on the Court? Who are the great justices that came before you that you really admire?
We can start with the great Chief Justice John Marshall, who took the Court that wasn't much of an institution, didn't have much business, and he used the Court's cases to begin to make us one nation instead of 13 jealous individual states. It's a truly great justice. Now, in those days, it was easier to achieve a consensus. First, there were fewer justices. Second, they all lived together in the same boarding house. The rule was that after dinner, the chief would take out his best Madeira, and then they would discuss the cases, and then he would volunteer to write the opinion for the court. So most of the opinions in Marshall's early years were written by the chief. In the end, there is this individual independent spirit that justices have, so he couldn't stay on dissents, and in his later years, even Marshall dissented more than one time. That was his idea. Another remarkable justice was the first justice, John Marshall Holland. He wrote the famous dissent in Plessy against Ferguson, saying that separate but equal was a terribly wrong notion.
And very eloquently too, don't you think? That's an eloquent opinion that more Americans ought to know about.
But the amazing thing about this man, John Marshall Holland, is he came from Kentucky. He grew up in a slave-owning family. His wife was from the free state of Indiana, and when she arrived in Kentucky, a gift from her mother-in-law was her own personal slave. And Malvina Holland has written a memoir in which she describes what life was like. It's a fascinating memoir because it begins before the Civil War. John Marshall Holland fought on the Union side. Even though Kentucky was a slave state, it was loyal to the Union. And then he wrote those remarkable dissents for beautiful writing. I think that there is no one quite equal to Holmes, but I would put in the league of beautiful legal writers, Benjamin Nathan Cardozo. He did his principal work as the Chief Judge of New York's highest court. Sadly, he didn't have a long tenure in the Supreme Court. Brandeis is another remarkable justice.
And may I add to the number of
You may.
And maybe Justice Ginsburg will amplify it.
Just a couple. Yeah.
Justice Story was a wonderful writer and a poet before he went on the bench, and very literary. Justice Johnson was the first dissenter, and he was a wonderful writer. And Justice Jackson may well have been the greatest writer ever to have sat on the U.S. Supreme Court, although I agree with Justice Ginsburg that Holmes was a great one. And the two greats today, as I said on this stage last year, the two strongest writers, although we have a great bench in the Supreme Court today, but the standouts are Justice Ginsburg and Justice Scalia. Last year, today, I gave Justice Ginsburg a Lifetime Achievement Award in legal writing for her contributions to legal literature. And she and Justice Scalia are the only two to have won this award, but they are widely regarded as wonderful stylists. And it's not just a matter of style, because ultimately if you have a good writing style, the substance is there as well. And we're just very fortunate to have wonderful writers on the U.S. Supreme Court today.
And all the more fortunate, Justice, to have you with us this evening. Thank you so much for your